Hello everyone, today we are going to learn about the variables in C language. Variable is a location in memory where a value can be stored for use by a program. Variables must be declared before they can be given a value. When declaring a variable, its name and data type should be specified. Every variable has a name, type, and a value. The declaration allocates the storage location of the appropriate size and associates the name and data type with that location. Okay, now let's see the format of the declaration of variable. It's like that. The data type, first we have to insert the data type, then the name of the variable. Here int is the data type and quantity is the name of the variable. In this one, float is the data type and the variable name is price. Like that, when declaring variables, first we have to insert the data type, then the name of that specific variable. When we pay our attention to variable names, variable name in C is a valid identifier. An identifier can be a series of characters consisting of letters, digits, and underscores. A variable name does not begin with a digit, may not contain embedded blank spaces, may not be a reserved word like int, return, if, while, etc. C is case sensitive. That means uppercase and lowercase letters are different in C. In this example, total is given in as 3 types. First one is using only simple letters. Second one is first letter is capital and others are simple. Third one is all the letters are capital. So we can use these 3 variables for 3 different names. We can see different data types in C language. First one is integers. Integers consist of positive whole numbers, negative whole numbers. Then real numbers. It consists of numbers with decimals. It can be positive or negative. Then characters include letters, special characters, and digits. Now let's see how to store a value into a variable. The assignment operation can be used to store a value in a variable or to change the value stored in a variable. The assignment operator is the equal sign. An assignment expression has the form like that, the variable, equal sign, then expression. Now here are some examples. We assign 50 to variable quantity. Here we have assigned 100.5 to variable number. Like that, we can assign different values to different variables. Now let's pay our attention to formatting output with printf. Printf function output data to the standard output stream. Printf call contains a format control string that describes the output format. For an example, we can use the printf according to this format. Here we have printf, then brackets, then within inverted commas %d, then the value. Now we are going to learn an important part, that is printf conversion specification. When we have a type integer, we use %d as conversion specification. %d display as a signed decimal integer. We can use %i also to display as a signed decimal integer. When the type is a floating point, we use %f. It displays the floating point values in fixed point notation. For a character, we use %c. It displays a character. We use %s to display a string. Then we are going to learn about the scanf. reading formatted input with scanf. Scanf function reads from the standard input stream. Scanf contains a format control string that indicates the type of data that should be entered. For an example, here we have a variable called a and its type is int. Then we use scanf within bracket, inverted commas, %d and a. Then we are going to learn about scanf conversion specification. Here %d reads signed decimal integer. Argument is a pointer to an int. %I read a signed decimal, octal or hexadecimal integer. %f reading a floating point value. %lf reading a floating point value. Argument is a pointer to a double. %c read a character. Argument is a pointer to a char. %s read a string. Argument is a pointer to an array of type char. Now we are going to do an example. Here we have to input two numbers from the keyboard and display the sum. Okay, now let's see how to do this program. For that, I'm going to comment what I'm going to do in this program. Input two numbers and add the numbers. Here how we put comments in C language. We call this as a single line comment. We can also use this. We use this to comment multi-lines. The previous one is used to comment only a single line. We can use this to comment multi-lines. Okay, now I'm going to keep this as a single line comment. And then I'm going to start the program. Hashtag include stdio.h. Then main function int main void. Here within brackets we can keep it empty, or we can use void inside the parenthesis. Then open brackets, then return 0. Here return 0 is used to see whether the program has executed successfully. Now we are going to define the variables. Here we have number 1, number 2 and the sum. For that we want 3 variables. For that we have to define variables with the data type and the name for that variable. I'm going to keep the data type as int. Then num1, num2, then sum. Those are my variables. Here we can define variables like that. As all the variables are int, we can type it in a single line, or we can type them separately like this. Int num1, int num2, then int sum. Okay, then we are going to printf enter num1. Now this part is visible to the user. Then user knows that I have to enter the number 1. Then we have to use a scanf. This is the function of scanf. We know that user is entering an integer number. For integers we use %d. Then comma and we have to use the variable that we hope to store this value. I am going to store the value entered by user in the variable num1. Then we have to do the same thing to print the num2 and store that value in the other variable. Then printf enter num2 semicolon, then scanf %d within inverted commas and comma, then and num2. Okay, now user has given us two values and we have stored those two values in our variables. Then we have to calculate the sum. For that I use my variable sum equals num1 plus num2 semicolon. Then I am going to print the sum to the user. For that I use printf the sum is, then %d as our sum is an integer, then comma sum. This is the variable containing sum, then semicolon. Okay, now our program has finished. Now let's see, we can run the program. Okay, now we are going to run the program. Okay, no errors. Now I am going to enter the number 1 as 20, then number 2 as 5, then the sum is 25. Okay, then now I hope you have a clear idea about how to use printf, how to declare variables, how to use scanf. Then I'm going to the next part, that is C structures. Structures are derived data types. They are constructed using objects or other data types. Simply, a structure is a collection of related variables under one name. Structures may contain variables of different types. Here is an example code how to define and use a structure in C. When we pay our attention to the code, it has the preprocessor directive, #include stdio.h. Then, before the main function, it has struct book. That is the structure. Book is the name of that structure. Then, within brackets, it has different variables. Here for an example, in this code we have book ID, it's a variable name and the type is int. Price, type is double. Number of pages, data type is int. Edition number, it also has the data type int. Then we have book 1. Then under the main function, here we have specified different values to those variables. For an example, here we define book1.bookid, this value, and book1.price, this value. Like that we have to assign values for those variables. Then in the printf, we can print the data above like as in previous examples also. For that we can use the same structure and book1.bookid. Then printf book1 price, we have to define the specification, then book1.price. Like that we can use structures in C. Here you can copy this code and see the results. Output should be like this. I hope you have a clear idea. For now, we are going to wind up the session. Thank you.